There we are. How we doing? It's Tuesday evening, and we are live with the Good News game plan for Greenwich. And here is Coach Kelly.
Tim, you scared me there. I thought I pressed the
No,
wrong button. I'm like, holy smokes, all I see is the stadium, which, by the way, a bit of good news. We installed today the press boxes up top. They arrived. They came in two different sections, and we raised those up with a crane, and we put them in their position. I went and checked it out after playing 9 holes of golf in the incredible heat today, and I went over and checked out the stadium, and it is looking good. We're in a good position.
I did a drive-by myself just today with a future freshman. So she was excited to do the drive-by and take a look, and the progress was looking very good there. So that was exciting.
We're pumped. And also, big news, big good news. Wahoo, wahoo. We finally got our executive director intern. As we've had that intern contest, and we had hundreds of thousands of applicants, and none of the applicants actually reached us. But when I heard there was hundreds of thousands of applicants, we finally got one. And we have our Caitlin Kelly, who is now our new executive director, and she is also / intern. So she'll be helping us out with the show. She'll be doing good news. Now, Caitlin, you did a little research on good news. Tim's boiling over. You can tell he's got some good news he's wanting to tell. But Caitlin, our new executive director / intern, I want you to give us some of that good news that you were doing some research on and found for us today.
Okay, well, I mean, the farmer's market is open, guys. You could go down to the Arch Street parking lot and go to the shopping center. And also, a bunch of girls from Connecticut made it to the Olympic trials, which is cool for track and field.
That's great.
There's my good news.
That's fantastic. That's good news. Great news. Also, a bit of news for the rugby team. Now they got ranked 5th in the entire country after their performance in a national tournament. It was a tough season. It was not very normal, but our boys were able to get themselves up to the highest standard possible, almost winning the whole thing, and finding themselves in a 5th position because they had the game against the team that won it all, and they lost at the last minute just by less than a score. So we could have been there, could have been somebody. We could have been the champs, but we didn't do it this time around. But oh well.
Got my rugby shirt on.
And it's rugby. Now, have the girls checked in, Tim? Do we have them in
Yes.
the green room? Because we have tonight, along with RYAN FAZIO, who will be officially announcing his candidacy for a state senator. He'll be on a little later on. But we also have 2 of the captains of the girls lacrosse team, and they did a great job. Grace Collier and Delaney Roth. Did I say it right, Caitlin?
Collier.
Collier. Grace, I'm sorry I said it wrong. I always
No,
mess
that
up.
was good. That was good.
Good. I did a great effort. Well, thank you guys for coming and welcome to the Good News program. I have to make sure you guys understand the rules prior to us going on. All things we talk about will be good news and only good news because this is the Good News program, because so many of those other programs out there talk about bad stuff, and we don't like bad stuff. We just like talking about good stuff. So welcome to the program. Grace, how are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having us. How are you?
Doing great. Delaney, so happy to have you here.
We're happy to be here. Thank you so much for having us.
It was so great coming out of our season, or coming out of COVID as we did, as you guys as athletes working into becoming a competitive team. But for us as parents, and I got to enjoy this because Caitlin serves under you guys on the team as an underclassman, but you guys are fine captains. But helping my world become more normal, we got to sit in the sidelines and the bleachers and the stands and watch you guys play. So thank you very much for making our exit from COVID and entry into the more normal world that much more enjoyable. Just sitting on the sidelines of a game just made me feel normal again. So thank you for that. I have a few questions for you guys, if you don't mind. Now, you guys having to you missed last season. We had to skip last season due to COVID, but that's certainly bad news. We don't like talking about bad news, but let's talk about the good news. How you captains were able to lead a group of kids who didn't have the opportunity to work together last year, a lot of underclassmen, how you helped lead this group into a successful team. Tell us, first, Grace, tell us how you were able to accomplish that as captains.
Yeah, of course. We were just grateful at first to have the season. It was pretty special to step back on the field together that first preseason and then tryouts, of course. And I think, like you said, it was a very young team, a lot of underclassmen, and they all did a great job of stepping up into new roles that we just asked them to kind of be in, and they did a great job of it. And then we also had a senior class that didn't necessarily get the most minutes, but brought the most heart and the most spirit and really brought the team together. And I think both of those, the hard work of the underclassmen and the spirit of our upperclassmen, brought the team together and helped us be successful this season, especially after losing last season.
Fantastic. Now, Delaney, tell me, how did you connect with these new kids? I mean, there's Caitlin up there in our corner, our brand new director of programming on the show and our / intern. She came into your program not having played with you guys before. And Delaney, tell me what you did to reach out to these new kids, of course, intimidated by the opportunity to play on the Greenwich High School varsity girls lacrosse team, any kid's dream who goes through the youth programs in our town. Tell me how you reached out and made them feel comfortable.
Yeah, coming to this season, we basically had like 2 freshman classes because the sophomore class also missed their last season. So with only 4 returning varsity players, one of the biggest things that helped everyone feel welcome this season was that there were so many new girls. It wasn't like there was only 5 new girls to the team or everything. We pretty much had a whole new team, and right off the bat, we connected. We had a lot of off-season training with a fall league and some winter training. That really helped for everybody to come together and get to know each other before we even had tryouts, before our teams were made. Everyone was already super close, and that helped us get off on a really strong foot once our teams were actually made and we were already ready to hit the ground running with the awesome team dynamic that really propelled us through this season.
Well, a really unique thing that I'm very proud of the team about, the whole team, the coaching staff, the players, the senior players like yourselves and the young players, was the fact that it was an extra challenge having a coach who really has not coached our team before. She did very well to try to settle things around when you guys were not playing due to COVID, but you guys had to work together as a new coach. Now, I spent 10 years coaching at the high school, so I know what it was like my first year. I was even as mature and as settled as I might seem. I was nervous my first year. And I knew it was a big challenge and I had big shoes to fill. So I knew it was challenging at my end. And I could imagine with you guys coming in, skipping the year, having the new coach, and then bringing it together, that was extra challenging for you guys. So that was a heck of an accomplishment. Tell me what was different about having the new coaching program? What did the coach expect of you guys, and how did you live up to that coach's expectations in taking on this new venture?
Yeah. I think Coach Clow and Coach Shannon, Coach Morton, Coach Wax, they're all buying into creating and reestablishing Greenwich as a championship program. And they have so much passion for the game, but also so much love for the kids and the team itself. And they spend so many hours off the field watching film, looking at the other teams, just trying to make sure that we're the most successful that we can be. And I think all the effort they put in off the field, but also on the field, really translated to our success this season. And I think will really take this program and team forward in the next couple of years.
Now, you guys might not know this, but when you're a new coach and you're trying to create, as you just pointed out, Grace, we'll call a culture in the program. A winning culture is what you want to cultivate. When you're bringing or creating this winning culture, the coach has some input, but also understand, and maybe you don't know how important your input is as captains, as leaders, when creating or designing that culture. A lot of that culture starts out this first year with your input. And I know when I first started, some of the seniors or the experienced players that I had as my captains, when I was designing my strategy for going forward as a sports program, I used a lot of input from those captains. So understand that you guys contributed a lot to the culture of the team. This sidelines enthusiasm is something that was bred by you guys. The coach didn't at the beginning of the season come over and say, "Hey, let's do a sidelines thing." That was you guys putting that together. That was you guys making that happen. So hopefully that tradition will be birthed from you guys and then passed on to the next generation. And that'll be part of the success of our program, and feel very proud that you're an important part of that. Absolutely. And tell me about some of the bonds you formed on the team. Delaney, tell us about how you made some reestablished relationships with old friends, players that you played with for years, and then opened up the opportunity for long-standing relationships with new friends.
Yes. So one thing that's really special about the Greenwich Girls Lacrosse program is pretty much once you get on the team, like no one really cares what grade you're in, which is something that's very unique to, I think, our team in particular. Like everybody is friends throughout grades. Some people were seeing a bunch of seniors really close with freshmen, sophomores. No one really cared what grade you were on the team. Everybody had an important role on and off the field, and that really helped us establish great bonds on our team. And I think that I remember when my freshman year, I remember the seniors, I still talk to them, and I hope that going forward when we're playing in college and we'll come back and watch the games because this is such a special program with such an amazing culture, we know that we'll keep these friendships going for many years to come when we're graduating and all the players are moving on and playing at the next level. We'll always keep in touch, which is something super special about this team.
Fantastic. Now, Grace, I know your father took a lot of pictures on the sidelines. He took on the role as a photographer, so we certainly like that. But Delaney, you have a unique distinction where your father was the voice for all those who could not make the game. Now, one thing that I find interesting, and I hope you might have done this, is do you criticize or pick apart, scrutinize his announcing when he stumbles or makes a mistake? Do you go home, look at the video, and say, "Dad, why did you say that? Did you ever do any of that?"
Yes, we try not to be too hard on him, but when we come home and we're rewatching film and he's kind of pointing out different things that we could do, we'll also chime in and say, "Oh, well, maybe you shouldn't have missed that call or missed up that girl's number." And we kind of like to give him a hard time if he's ever giving us a hard time on our play or something like that. And it's good banter going back and forth.
That's great, Benton. As you know, I've known your father for many, many years. And we were actually listening to a game because we couldn't make one of the games. And we did not know that your father was doing the announcement. So we're sitting there listening. That voice sounds familiar. And then we realized it was him. And I said, "Oh, there's going to be a lot of fun with this going along the season." Yes. So it was great. He did a fine job. What a contributor. And Caitlin, now I've got a question of you about our wonderful leadership seniors here, our captains. How did they make you feel comfortable as your first season, your sophomore year, because last season didn't happen. It was your sophomore year, but it was your chance to then find your way into the varsity program. How did these two captains in particular make you feel comfortable in the program?
Well, I think that when you guys were remembering my name was when I was like, okay, that I can feel pretty comfortable here, because I remember at the clinics at the Boys and Girls Club, you guys would be like, "Hi, Caitlin," or "Good job, Caitlin," whatever, and I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, they know my name," like whatever, and we just started like having such a close bond. Like I don't even know how it happened. Our team is just so comfortable with each other, and there was a little bit of tension like in the beginning between like having this huge group of sophomores and then another huge group of seniors. But I think like right away you guys kind of like chimed in and just brought us all together, especially you guys, because you guys were there like the previous year or the previous years, and you guys were on varsity. So yeah, I think that was really important, because I don't think we would have broken that barrier if you guys weren't there. So thank you.
Well, cool beans. As far as stuff goes, I've known a lot about kids sports. It was a really, really great season, great thing to see. Thank you for coming on the show, and we have a unique treat coming up next. I don't know if you guys are aware of Greenwich graduate RYAN FAZIO. He is one of our local politicians. He's a local fella. He will be coming on the show in a minute. and he's going to ask you guys a few questions, and then we're going to maybe ask some questions back to him. The unique, fun thing about Ryan is most of the politicians, as you see, well, we'll go to the highest level like Joe Biden or myself when I was running, or a lot of other folks that are running. They're usually kind of old farts like me, and not really able to connect with you guys. Now, are you guys both registered voters?
Yes. I need to fill out my paperwork. I actually got it at graduation. They handed it out to us, so I need to fill it out and register.
Let's see if RYAN FAZIO can convince you to move that process along. So we're going to bring Ryan in. Here's Ryan. Hello, Ryan.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Now,
Joe, we can't hear you. Your shirt's too loud.
Oh, no, I didn't realize. I didn't look before I put it on. I just put on what was ever clean. But Ryan, thank you very much for coming. And the girls are excited to hear some questions you might have of them. I know you were busy doing stuff leading into your campaign here, but were you able to listen to the our lacrosse girls, lacrosse captains, talk about a few things, enough to maybe ask them a question or two?
Yeah, I got only a few minutes. I was actually attending Bobby Valentine's. Speaking of great athletes, I was at Bobby Valentine's rally over in Stamford. As you all know, he's running for mayor over in Stamford, a homegrown person, just like some of us on this call. And he's in his, he's got a few years on us, and he played famously. He played baseball at Stamford High and then in the majors. So. I was with him, but I got 5 minutes with our great student athletes here, and that was good.
Well, do we have any questions of our captains, Ryan? They're all excited. Now, Delaney has yet to register as a voter, and Grace has registered. I don't know if they're going to vote for you if you are the candidate or not, but maybe you have a chance to win a voter over to in this short period of time, and then we'll talk a little more about you, Ryan. Do you want to have a chance to maybe talk to the young ladies about why they should consider, certainly why Delaney should register as a voter, and then why they might want to consider you?
Well, I think everyone should vote. Everyone should register to vote. Everyone should vote, and they should do their best to make an informed decision. That's what a democracy is all about. And it's more important that you vote than you necessarily vote for me or whoever I think is best candidate in a given race, although I certainly hope you do. Getting involved in ways big and small, I think, is very important, very special, very important for the future of our democracy, local and national. And so I just encourage it. Generally, I encourage people getting involved, joining something like the RTM, which is the legislative body in town, is not very demanding. But it's really a great experience where you can actually help form the laws that govern the town of Greenwich. So getting involved in any way, from the age of 18 to the age of 100, I think is a great idea. And I'd like to hear from you because, Greenwich High School athletics are very demanding. They're very impressive, but you learn a lot more than playing the sport. So what are the greatest life lessons that you've learned so far playing at Greenwich High?
Grace, we'll go to you first.
Okay. Sorry. I think, especially with the lacrosse program and coming in freshman year to this lacrosse team that we have, is just that it's more than the game on the field. And what matters a lot, too, is the team and the bonds you make with your teammates and the long-lasting friendships you make with them, and that it's more than just the game and the sport. And then I think also I learned by example by the leaders that came before me and the upperclassmen that came before me is just how important it is to work hard wherever you are, whenever, because they always did, and they always took the extra minute, the extra rep, the extra shot to just perfect their craft and keep getting better. And I think I learned from them that it's just so important to keep working hard and to always put in the extra effort. And I'm grateful that I had the leaders and the mentors ahead of me to learn that all from, too.
Wow, that's a great answer.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with Grace. And I think I would also add just like the importance of like a great team culture. I know that there's some other teams in the SCAC, and you'll hear about that don't have the best team culture. It really has a negative impact on their success as a team and the enjoyment of people on the team. But as a 3-sport athlete, every single team that I was on throughout my 4 years at Greenwich High School just had such an amazing bond, and we really played well together, and that showed through our success of the lacrosse season this year. Even though we came in and we had a completely new team, fresh starting lineup, because we were so close and we had that amazing team culture, then that we were able to shine through and play against other teams that maybe had and compete with teams that maybe had more commits or had been playing together longer. And it really just the Greenwich High School culture of everybody wanting to play for each other and play for the person next to them really shines through and on all teams throughout Greenwich High School's athletic program.
Well, Delaney and Grace, thank you for joining us. And I do have to say, and Ryan, you could appreciate this as well, Greenwich High School puts out great products. Listen to these impressive young ladies. Speak with confidence, well-spoken, great ideas, great concepts. Ryan, you graduated how many years ago now is it that you graduated?
13
years ago, and you're a great product of the school systems as well. And I'm so proud to work with the school systems as on the Board of Education, and so proud to have had a student in the Greenwich district, the school district, since 1997 continuously. So we have 2 more years with young Caitlin there. That'll bring us, and who's good at math? 1997 to 2 years from now. How many years will I be having my children in the Greenwich School District?
26.
Ryan's good at math. Fantastic. Great. Okay, Delaney, Grace, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to have a little chat with Ryan now. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Hello, Ryan. How are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you, Joe?
Doing great, doing great. I was so thrilled when we had our campaign last cycle, when you and I got to work together, got out there, knocked on some doors, and met a bunch of people. And I almost thought that this was going to be a double header, where it looked like Steve Meskers might be putting his hat in the ring, which meant you once again running for the Senate spot, and me once again running for the 150th. But I would expect 2 years in between rather than, was it 6 months, 7 months in between?
My gosh. Yes.
So it's happened quickly. So tell me, how excited are you to have another bite at the apple?
Well, I'm very excited. My heart was so into this process a year ago, campaigning. And ultimately, because I wanted to serve our community. This is the community that I grew up in, like Caitlin, and I think so highly of it. And I think it's just the best place imaginable to build a life and raise a family. But I was very worried about the leadership in the state government and thought we could do much better to create economic opportunity, to improve the quality of the schools, and to protect the public safety. So that's why I ran. I ran for the substantive, for those substantive reasons, in order to improve the future for everyone in our community. And that's why I wanted to win, and I worked very hard. But the campaign was a great experience in and of itself. I got to meet so many thousands of people. I knocked on 4,000 doors. I know you knocked on thousands of doors too. And it was just such a great experience just to meet and hear from so many people. And so getting the chance to do it again and possibly win and serve the community is just, I think it's exciting, and I think we could do a lot of good. So I'm excited for the things to come.
Well, it's exciting times. We have 3 Republican candidates who will be trying to figure out who we feel is the best candidate to put forward. We have yourself, Harry Aurora, who's done a fine job as our state rep, and Leora Levy, who has been a long-term member of the party, and I believe he's the first-time candidate for any public office. So it's interesting, it's fun, and for us as far as delegates who will be voting, I happen to have the privilege to be a delegate to help select the candidate. I wish you guys were working about amongst yourselves, but I kind of think that that's not going to happen, because each of you believe that you have a lot of great features to contribute and want to help our fine area, the 36th district, and help our state as well. So tell us more about yourself, because not everyone knows who will be watching this program knows about you. You graduated from Greenwich High School 13 years ago. And tell us more about yourself.
Well, I spent most of my career working in the renewable energy space. I did some commodities trading, just like Joe did. No one's as good as Joe, but I tried my best. So I have a lot of renewable experience and energy experience. I spent 7 or 8 years volunteering in inner city schools. So, as we talked about before, the cause of education and high quality academics is very close to my heart. I serve on the Greenwich RTM and I serve on the Greenwich Energy Efficiency Committee. So I love public service and I love this community. I grew up here. I've lived most of my life here, and I'm planting my flag here. And I hope to help serve it in Hartford because I'm very concerned about the direction of the state. And I think that we deserve a state government that's equal to the caliber of the people in our community.
Well, when I first met you, we gave you a bit of a hard time because you're a bit young compared to us old farts. I used that expression already before, but over time,
I'm not even the youngest person on this chat right now.
You are not, but you won me over as far as your ability to take on the challenge and be able to make a difference in government and leadership. So you were able to win me over as a skeptic because us people with experience know that experience only comes with time, and having not spent as much time, sometimes we're a little concerned, skeptical. But you've won me over, and very happy to say that you are certainly certainly somebody who I feel could do the job very, very well. Now, Caitlin, do you have a question of Ryan from a young person's perspective about leadership in our state, about things that directions we might want to go, or maybe just ask his opinion on something that you want to talk about? But understand it has to be in the category of good news because this is the Good News program.
Okay. Well, so what's your main goal with this? Do you want to become president or something?
No, that sounds awful.
You don't want to become president?
Not even close. Not even close. That sounds like an awful prospect. I mean, could you imagine? Could you even imagine? I mean, even the idea of working in the federal government. This is the Good News show. We shouldn't talk about working in the federal government with all the dysfunction of national politics. I want to say
that's the problem. We need good people to go into federal government because we have crazy.
Maybe Joe should run for Congress.
Yeah, totally.
Well, we'll see someday because as a candidate that does not want to go into the trenches and disparage my opponent, I found that I was criticized slightly by some folks that I didn't know how to fight, and there's no better fighter than me. But when it comes to fighting fair, I like to take the fight straight on, and my technique sort of did not meet everyone's approval. So if one day we change back to being more polite, more respectful in politics, then maybe there is a place for me, which I respect everybody and will give everyone the benefit of the doubt. I don't want somebody, if running for office, I want somebody voting for me, not against them. And that would be my goal to return. Hopefully one day I will return because I really enjoy public service and would enjoy such a thing. But Ryan, it's not about me, it's about you. And so what do you, in the short term right now, I'm sure you're ramping up your support. You're making all those phone calls. I know you've called me a couple of times. I know that you've been constantly talking to the delegates and basically taking those signs out of storage and putting them back out on the lawn somewhere. Have you put any signs out yet?
No, but I have seen some signs pop up, and it was unbeknownst to me. So that's positive. But yeah, this campaign's going to ramp up. It's going to be a sprint this time. You know that last time was a marathon. It was over, it was really over 7 or 8 months, and this one's going to be over 6 weeks. So I feel really excited because we spent a year last year establishing credibility and respect and name recognition and trust around the district, Greenwich, Stamford, and New Canaan, from corner to corner of the 36th. And so, it's going to be like, I actually went to an event for the beginning of, right as I was announcing that I was running, and 7 people there were like, yeah, you knocked on my door. Yeah, I met you at the door. So it's going to be like meeting old friends again, which nothing's better than seeing an old friend. So it's going to be like seeing thousands of old friends, and I'm very excited for this this summer trip that I have, basically.
But how much fun will it be doing doors without having to have your Darth Vader mask on?
Oh, that's going to be a relief. I'm vaxxed. I'm ready to go, and everyone's vaxxed. And boy, that's, you learn to be thankful for the little things in a year like last year.
That was such a challenge with the masks on, trying to talk to people, and you couldn't express your happy, your disarming smile. You had to hide that. I'm told that sometimes I've got scary eyes, so I couldn't make my smiling face to hide my scary eyes. So I think I might have scared some people. So, but it was certainly a unique time. But now it'll be fun to just knock on a door and just say, "Hey, how's it going?" and have fun. And what I noticed about campaigning is people do want to talk to their local politicians, where if you're selling vacuum cleaners or something like that, they don't want to talk to you. They slam their door. But once they find out you're a local politician, then they're happy to discuss issues with you, because people want to talk, especially now after being locked up for so long. So if we do decide, or it is decided that you are the candidate, I'm excited for our community, that you'll be able to go and engage our community, because it'll be your full-time job. It'll be what you do. And you reached 4,000 doors last time. I assume you're going to hit that number again, because it'll be old friends, as you just pointed out, and you'll be hitting it hard. So is there anything else you want to talk about that might help early on in this process to make people feel comfortable with considering you? Because the last election, that was razor thin, the margin between you and the incumbent. The incumbent had you only by a small number of votes.
Yeah, well, I just want to remind everyone that this place is my home. It's the only place I've ever called home. I love this community. I think it's just the greatest place imaginable to build a life and grow up or raise a family. I just want to serve it the best way possible, and I'll work hard and listen to everybody and try to build consensus in Hartford and reach across the aisle and get positive things done to brighten the future of our community. If you want to learn more, you can go to RYANFAZIO.com. Vote. We don't know the election date in August, but make sure you make a plan to vote in person whenever that's scheduled for, or vote absentee. We'll be sending around links to absentee ballot applications, and that way, if you're out of town enjoying the summer, that you could still vote and have a say in our local and state government.
Now, Caitlin, our new intern / general manager, will you be with your time in the summer? She's recovering from an ACL surgery, Ryan. Oh. She just had the surgery, so she cannot play sports this summer. So she's available. Would you be willing to help Ryan with this campaign if he is selected by the Republican Party?
Yeah, of course.
That's good. So you'll be able to.
Thank you, Caitlin.
You'll be able to persuade some young voters because you have access with the teams you play on and the kids you know. And we just talked to your old captains. They're both 18 years old and eligible to vote. So if you want to figure out some things that you want to learn to say to them, then we'll get Ryan on the phone. We'll give you a pitch that you can call up all your friends and go on social media and start talking about how you're going to support his campaign. If in fact the Republican Party decides that Ryan is our candidate.
Well, that would be much appreciated. We had a great group of high school and college volunteers on the last campaign, and they added a lot. They really do add a lot of energy and optimism, and they show what the race is all about, the future.
Well, you know what? I feel this is good news. It's the Good News Show, and Caitlin is on board now as our intern. Finally, she can take care of all the stuff we need taken care of with this program, so we can put it on every week. So this is a huge good news day, full of good news information. And here to conclude our program is Good News Tim Judge to conclude with some really, really important bit of good news.
I was just very excited because I got the paper and I saw your picture on the front, and it says, hasn't decided, and his phone is blowing up and everything. And I was so excited. The good news was that you were coming on this show, Greenwich Local, and the Good News Game Plan to announce, officially your candidacy. But I wish you all the best, because I had seen you many times before and a big fan. And I think that you've already coming off what you've done before, and such a margin that you squeaked out last time. I think you have such a great shot at pulling off a win in just 6 weeks, because you've already started running. I mean, your site probably wasn't even expired, RYANFAZIO.com, so it's all up and ready to go, and we all know where you stand, which was such a great platform. So I'm really impressed with you, and I wish you all the best and everything that happens in the next couple weeks.
And Ryan, if you could muster an official announcement, because the announcements you've made about running so far were sort of like not 100% that you're going to do it. So if you could now, and we can use this video clip on your campaign if you put the right words together. So put the right words together, making the official announcement that you will be running for this position. Are you ready?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, I am officially all in. I'm running for state senate for Greenwich, Stamford, and New Canaan to bring change to our state government and a brighter future for everyone in our community.
Fantastic. And you heard it first. Well, maybe not first, but you heard it on the Good News Game Plan. So thank you, Ryan, for coming on. Tim, another great show. Caitlin, welcome to the program. So we have good things coming ahead. The summer's here. Everything's great. Thank you, everybody. See you guys.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you all.